My name is David Bilsborough, and my business is We Buy Your Car 365, which is predominantly a used car buying service direct to the public. Obviously we're not alone in the market. There are one or two well-known other companies doing similar, but what they don't do is they don't actually get a chance to meet the proprietor, the owner, the developer of the site. You're dealing with, at best, young people with very little experience and no knowledge of the vehicle's true identity. So especially in the last 10 years, vehicles have been able to be specified to the client's individual specification. So there's some good value specification that doesn't always get recognised by some of the other well-known car buying sites that we will definitely recognise. So as an example, you could have an Audi. Recently we bought an Audi A3 with £5,500 worth of extra equipment, which obviously stood that car out from another Audi A3. So along the lines of, it had a glass panoramic sunroof, it had xenon headlights, it had heated seats, there were leather seats, it had upgraded wheels. Now some of those you would have physically been able to see, like the headlights and the wheels and then maybe the glass roof. But then the trick is knowing roughly how much each of those valued extras are worth as a second-hand car compared to new. Obviously not worth £5,500, but they're worth between £1,500 and £2,000 more. So when we got to the negotiation point with that customer and we'd agreed in principle a purchase price to buy it from him, he then introduced that he'd been to the other well-known buying site who'd offered him £1,100 less. So it does pay to sort of shop around and just not go to the easy route, which I think people have adopted it from the supermarkets, the retail supermarkets in the last decade. They're prepared to get in the car, buy what they want from supermarket A, visit supermarket B for something else, and visit supermarket C and even the high street shop at D, because they can see the value of placing the business in 3 or 4 different areas. And I think that's what people need to understand with these massive big companies that are basically owned by other big companies. They're not always going to get the best deal. So it does pay to shop around. We don't, and that's one of the reasons that we are different. Yes, they put the registration number into the website. Yes, they'll self-populate some boxes on the website, but then that's sent off to my email inbox, and I'll look at each individual request for evaluation on an individual basis. And I'll perform some background checks on the vehicle and data which I can get, and what it was built with and when it was built. And then I'll look at the retail proposition points. I'll look at the retail potential of that vehicle, and then what we call retail back. So we'll look at it and think, right, well, we need to be, for that investment, that level of investment, we need to have a return of that percentage. And then we'll go back to the customer with that percentage, which we find historically better than the bigger companies, because they're owned by auction companies and they are basically going to put that car into an auction, where we are using it from a retail point of view, and we're going to get more than what they will get through an auction. This was on a BMW 640. It actually been to agree, it agreed in principle a sale with a very well-known company. He turned up for the appointment, and at that point it's well-known fact that this company does historically reduce the prices, because what you see online isn't the price you always get when you bring the car to them. Now sometimes it's justifiable because there's some things that have been missed, bits of damage and wear and tear, etc. But when I looked at the car after him not agreeing to sell the car to them, I couldn't see the difference that they'd adjusted by £700. I could just see some fair wear and tear, and we have to accept that they're used vehicles. So yes, at the upshot, it was recommended to me, which was fantastic, and we dealt with him all in one day, less than a day, half a day, and we dropped him back at home, and he'd already got the money in his bank, so he was paid by bank transfer, which is secure for both parties. And we then sold the vehicle through our retail business, Cheshire Cars, some weeks later. So everyone was happy. You can either make the phone call to the business. It's the same number as the sales business, Cheshire Cars, so it's 01270 213 811. You can find us on Google. If you type in We Buy Your Car 365 to Google. We're on Facebook as well. And so those are all linked to our contact details, or you can go straight to the website, which is www.webuyyourcar365.co.uk. On there is an home page, tells you about the company, how we operate, etc. And there's also a page on there which basically you fill your registration number, make, model, mileage, any extra details you want. There's 6 tick boxes to say that you own the vehicle and it's fit and proper and it's without hindrance or debt. It's not been involved in an accident, etc. Those are all standard tick boxes. It takes someone it's probably 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes to fill the box out and press and send to us. That comes to my inbox. I look at each individual interested party that want to sell the vehicles, and we'll get in touch with them by either email or by telephone. So some people might prefer email, other people don't mind, and we'll tick both telephone and email, but usually within 24 hours. So it's not generated off the registration number, which is generated by a computer. And with the best will in the world, if you put a registration number into the system, it will only give you standard details for that car. It won't give you any extra specification. Even it may be metallic silver. It will just say silver, and it will value the car as silver. It won't give it any more valuation, or if it's a 7-year-old car with 2 owners, it's going to be worth a few £100 more than one that's 7 years old with 3, 4, 5 owners. And it doesn't take into account service history. It's either yes or a no. So service history might be that it's 3 years old, it's had 2 services and there's 1 more to come. So that will knock that car because it's not quite ready for service. Whereas when we speak to the customer, the client who owns the car, we'll find that data out and we won't necessarily reduce the price because it hasn't been serviced. We'll use all the manufacturer servicing parts, but we'll probably self-service it within our own workshop. So that's saving the customer £300. So that's a small item I'm sure most people selling the car won't realise. We accept fair wear and tear, so we don't reduce for damaged wheels or stone chips or light scratches, things that we would take care of in the rectification process. And it's fair to say that the vehicle's 3-4 years of age and it will have some wear and tear, so we accept that. Whereas certainly the bigger companies like you just mentioned will not accept that, and they'll probably discount it by £75 per wheel. So 3 wheels is £150, £225. Chips, probably £200 or £300. So all of a sudden your price is going from being more than my price to being under my price. And then, unfortunately, they hit the seller with an administration fee of up to £100 to start the process. We don't charge administration fees. Absolutely. I mean, even if it's just to empower them to get the best, to go down the best route for their car or their vehicle, because we do buy small commercial vehicles as well. But I think the most important thing is that the people that have got the vehicle feel that they've had good advice fairly, and whether you sell me the car or not, I'd rather that be the case, and then they go down the avenue, maybe trading the car in, or maybe letting one of the children have the car, or something similar. If you have a car to sell or a small commercial, get in touch with me directly. That's David Bilsborough on 01270 213 811, or alternatively fill in the website form, which you can find at www.webuyyourcar365.co.uk.